Can't stop thinking about sugar. Been on this binge investigation into sugar, and I can't get it off my mind. I can't stop thinking about sugar because I want it. I can't stop thinking about it because the more I learn how bad it is, the more frustrated it makes me. I started researching this, and I like to print stuff up. I like to read it on paper. And the way this little obsession I have right now came about is I know how bad it is. And then when I see our grandkids, like we have the Southern California grandkids, and we have grandkids that live in Texas. Texas grandkids were out here, so we got to see all the grandkids. And it makes me scared. I'm like worried for them. It's not like their parents give them tons of sugar, but all kids are getting sugar. They do get sugar. And we actually told them that when they come to our house, if you want them to have snacks that have sugar, these over-processed things, you guys have to bring it. We're not getting it. We used to accommodate that. We just got to have stuff for the grandkids. You know, stuff they love, like the cereals that we all grew up loving. We just decided to put a stop to that. When you come here, we'll give them some fruit. We don't eat fruit, but they could have some fruit and healthy snacks. Or mom and dad can bring whatever treats they want for them. Because we're not going to tell anybody you can't do this or you can't do that. But man, the way I feel now, I feel like there's very little difference between my grandkids having sugar and cigarettes. I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy to me because they're both addictive and they're both very bad for your health. Very bad. And they're starting that cycle early with the kids, just like they did with cigarette smokes. Their advertising was appealing to everybody, but lots of young people, and commercials for cereal and all that appeals to young people. We were all kids. I'm sure we watched those commercials and was like, ooh, that looks good. I did. So I look at that the same. I don't want my grandkids smoking cigarettes, and I don't want them having all this sugar. So I want to share some of the information I've been reading with you guys, and I feel like I need to do this video because maybe some of you that are eating sugar, maybe you don't realize how much sugar you're eating, and you might change. You might look at it differently and take a little challenge. And the challenge is going to be, don't eat any sugar for 2 weeks. Some of the shocking things that I discovered was things like, there was a study back in 2007 by Lenore and colleagues where they tested whether rats preferred sugar over cocaine. The results, a staggering 94% of the rats chose sugar, they did sugar water, over cocaine. So that is pretty staggering. What's even more amazing is they gave them the choice and they put a shock, like you had to cross over this thing that would shock them to get to the sugar. And the majority of them still chose the sugar water. That's very powerful control of your brain, isn't it? Here's how sugar does it. It hijacks the brain's reward system, just like these drugs do, just like cocaine and heroin do. Sugar stimulates the release of dopamine. It's the same neurotransmitter that addictive drugs like cocaine and heroin activate. This creates a cycle of cravings, consumption, and withdrawal. In 2013, a study published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that high glycemic foods like sugar and refined carbs light up the brain's addiction centers just like drugs do. This means that sugar isn't just empty calories, it's actively training your brain to crave more. This means that sugar isn't just empty, worthless calories, actively training your brain to want more. They know that's what that's doing. They know that this sugar is going to make you want more. That's how they design that. And that's why they put this in so much of our food. And they rename it too to trick you, but it's still sugar. What is the result of us eating this sugar, getting our brains hijacked, and causing people to consume sugar in mass quantities? Diabetes, fatty liver disease, obesity, they skyrocket in parallel with excess sugar consumption. Stuff pisses me off. In 2014, in JAMA Internal Medicine found that those who consume 25% or more of their daily calories from sugar had nearly 3 times the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to those who consumed less than 10%. 3 times more likely to die from cardiovascular disease from excess sugar. So here's what happens. When you get off sugar, you have no more cravings, steady energy throughout the day, there's no crashes, better mental clarity and focus. Overall, you just feel better. It's crazy to think how much our life is controlled by sugar. Here's what we can do. Try eliminating sugar, soda, candy, no added sugar. Your body wasn't designed to handle this insane amount of sugar that they pump into all our food. Sugar consumption in our foods. The average American consumes 17 teaspoons, that's 71 grams of added sugar per day, which adds up to about 60 pounds per year. That's the average person's eating 60 pounds of sugar per year. 74% of packaged foods contain added sugar. Often they're hidden under other names like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, and maltose, according to the University of California in a study done in 2016. A single 20-ounce bottle of soda contains 16 teaspoons of sugar. Holy crap. Nobody just sits down and drinks one soda either. People are consuming those things all day long. It's disgusting though. Okay, here's something. This should motivate you. These are things I'm trying to motivate you to, if you do eat, if you're eating a lot of sugar, or if you're not aware, if you start checking the things that you're eating and you realize, man, there's a lot of sugar in there, maybe you'll take this challenge and go 2 weeks. If you go 2 weeks and you didn't feel any withdrawals, you must not be eating a lot of sugar, because there will be withdrawals. It'll take you 2 weeks to get cleaned up and start feeling better. Sugar and all-cause mortality. A 2014 study in JAMA found that people who consumed 25% or more of their daily calories from sugar had nearly 3 times the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to consuming less than 10%. A 2015 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that high sugar intake was linked to a 30% increased risk of death from any cause. Usually when you hear that from any cause, it's because if you're consuming that much sugar, maybe you've got your sugar addiction strong, you probably do other reckless things in your life. Maybe excess alcohol, or that's how that works, why you're 30% more likely, because you might have other things that maybe you're not exercising, maybe you're not taking care of yourself. That's a big difference. High sugar consumption has been linked to shorter lifespans in multiple animal studies, raising concerns about its impact on human longevity. That was a study done in PLOS Biology in 2013. Sugar and disease. Diabetes. Consuming just 1 to 2 sugar-sweetened beverages per day increases the risk of type 2 diabetes by 26%. That's a lot. Diabetes Care 2010. That's the study, or who that's referencing. Heart disease. High sugar intake has been shown to raise blood pressure, triglycerides, and LDL cholesterol while reducing HDL cholesterol, increasing heart disease risk. That was from 2009. Fatty liver disease. Excess sugar, especially fructose, is a major driver of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, which affects up to 25% of the global population. Wow, that's from the Journal of Hepatology in 2019. That's 25% of the population. Wow, global population around the world. Dementia and Alzheimer's. A 2013 study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that in non-diabetics, higher blood sugar levels were strongly linked to increased risk of dementia. Alzheimer's is now being called type 3 diabetes due to its connection with insulin resistance. Man. Cancer. 2016 study in cancer research found that sugar fuels cancer growth by increasing inflammation and feeding tumor cells, particularly in breast and colon cancers. Man, I bet all of us know somebody who's had both of those. Here's how quickly sugar wrecks your body. Within 30 minutes of drinking a sugary soda, your blood sugar spikes. Your liver goes into overdrive and your body starts storing fat. This is from Harvard Health. Consuming sugar regularly dulls your dopamine receptors, meaning over time you need more and more to get the same pleasures, just like a drug addiction. Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews in 2016, that's where that's from. That's a glimpse at what I've been reading and looking up and studying and making me just, I can't stop thinking about it and I feel bad. I feel like I have no control around, because I can't just go tell my kids, hey, don't eat this, don't eat that. I can't tell the grandkids that. And people we know and friends we know, and if we know people that are unknowingly or knowingly consuming a lot of sugar and, you know, excess processed foods, because that's going to have a lot of sugar in it. It's such a weird place to be in, you know? Like, how do you, when you know something's bad for you, deadly, truly deadly, but you also, people got to live their life. And I don't like telling people how to live it, you know, like, but to me, this sugar is like smoking. And I think they should have labels. I've heard this before. They should have labels on food saying the risks that are involved, because they don't, when these companies, they do studies and stuff, and they know what the outcomes are, that it's going to be dangerous, how many people, it's going to be killing people, but they don't have to release that information because they funded the study. So they just want all the good information. They don't have to tell us when they experiment on animals and oh yeah, all these animals got cancer. They don't have to tell us that. It's their stuff. They paid for that study. I feel strongly about it because I feel like it's something that's relatively easy to curtail and reduce your sugar intake. Be conscious of it. It's easy to do, and I know that some people say it's not easy. You're going to have an addiction, or you have to get the withdrawals. So what? If it makes your life, it can be longer by quitting sugar, or at least making it very small to where you're not craving it all the time, then it's not hard. If somebody tells you, if you stop this, you're going to live a year longer, why wouldn't you stop it? What if it's way more than a year though? But I hope if any of you have a sugar addiction, you take the 2-week challenge and you quit sugar for 2 weeks, see how you feel, and then try to carry that on, because when you're out of that, when you get away from it long enough, I don't crave sugar anymore. It just doesn't happen. But I'm sure if we ate some, it would come right back. What do you think about the carnivore diet? No sugar. All right. I know that this video isn't for everybody, and I'm fine with that. This is a video that I feel like I have to do because it's bugging me so much. Like I can't stop thinking about whenever I see people drinking a soda, or just, you know, the grandkids, when they get a piece of sugar in whatever form it's in, their expression changes. And I think that's what parents like too, is they like to see their kid go, ah, but that's not them just being happy. That's the brain saying, yeah, give me some more of that. And it's just a big trick. Enjoy your life.